everyone. Thanks for tuning in to the Department Spotlight. I'm Amanda Barber.
And I'm Terrence Anderson.
And today we're interviewing Dr. Williams.
So, Dr. Williams, today we're going to be talking about Dune, and I hear that you're teaching a class on this book. Could you tell us more about that?
Yes, about the book or the class?
The class.
The class.
Yes, sir.
Well, the class studies the book, how it was done in written form, TV form, film form, and we discuss the basic themes that Herbert brings up. It's a science fiction novel that is very philosophical. It deals with philosophy, sociology, religion, politics, war, and so on. And so it's got a lot of themes in it, so it's a very rich book. It makes it good for a class to analyze.
Sounds really interesting. Could you tell us a little bit about the author of Dune?
Frank Herbert wrote Dune, and he's a very important thinker in the world of speculative fiction and science fiction. He's an interesting guy. He was interested in things like land preservation, so he would buy a farm and practice things like letting coyotes loose that would kill off some of the cattle but maintain the herd, and developing a strong herd when most farmers want to get rid of coyotes and so on. So he would do projects like that. To write Dune, he had been a journalist, and he went to become a writer with the novel Dune. And of course, he was a broke writer, coming out of being a journalist, didn't have much money. So he used what he had. He bought a hearse, and he loaded up his family into a hearse with all their belongings and the dog into a hearse, and they drove down to Mexico where they could live on their American dollars longer than they could live up in the United States. So he's an interesting character.
I wanted to ask, what type of things would you do in the class, like activities and type of work?
Yeah, it's mostly a seminar. We're dealing with discussion of the themes. So, drugs is a theme, and what happens if you have a drug that's both mind expanding and is geriatric. It's good for your health and it improves the longevity of life, but is also addictive and therefore fatal if you withdraw the drug. And that's relates so closely to things like the opiate epidemic that's going on right now. So we can use the book that was written in the 60s to talk about themes today, and the book remains incredibly relevant.
That's cool.
All right, Dr. Williams, thanks for talking with us today about Dune.
You're welcome.
Everyone, thank you for tuning in to the Department Spotlight. I'm Amanda Barber.
Terrence Anderson.
See you next week.